Hello, la de o, la de o. La de o means la de is here. So hello, la de is here. Welcome to my channel. You can see why I'm excited. We are making something special, something magnificent. If this is your first time on my channel, you're very much welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, you know I love you. On today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I make this beef sauce and coconut rice. This food is what you would make for your in-laws when they come visit you after you first get married, so that they know that you are taking care of their son. This is what you make for your fiance, the first meal that you. This is what when you want to pull up a show. This is way to go. And two people inspired this. I am Dodos and Sweet Ajeli on YouTube. When we enter, I will tell you how. Okay, so here are the ingredients. We're going to be needing meat, of course. Cut them in strips. If you can cut them in slimmer strips than I did, please go ahead. So yes, beef, fresh beef. We're also going to be needing some cornstarch or corn flour. In Nigeria, it's corn flour. If you say cornstarch, they will not answer you. Spring onions. I'm going to be using some of that. I'm going to be using some red onions, regular onions, and I used 3 medium balls of it. I'm going to be using some pepper, chili powder pepper, you know what I mean, the red one. And then I'm also going to be using some Cameroon pepper. This is not black pepper, this is hotter than black pepper. I'm going to be using some seasoning salt, I'll show you the brand later, and then some Maggi. And then my ginger garlic turmeric paste. If you have not seen how I make it, please, this is going to take your dishes to a new level. I'm also going to be needing some bell peppers, so green bell peppers and red bell peppers. We call red bell peppers tatashe. And of course, I'm going to be using some carrots and some vegetable oil. Please mind you, I'm not using Korean thyme. No, you don't need it. If you want to add it, that's up to you, but you don't need it. So what we're going to do next is to take this beef and parboil it. I'm going to be using hot water to clean the beef. And what this does is it gets rid of the blood and all the dirty stuff, but then it also like cooks it just a little bit. And I like doing this. I like I told you guys earlier, Sweet Ajeli inspired this, and it was from her that I learned that you can do this. She's a YouTuber, she's a Ghanaian. Shout out to all my Ghanaian subscribers, I love you all. But yeah, thank you Sweet Ajeli for that. I didn't know it before. And then now I add the paste and I use my hands, guys, because I want to work this thing. If you are here to raise voice, please pardon us. We're on lockdown, so everybody's home. So yes, after you put the ginger garlic paste, by the way, you should see that video because it takes your dishes to a new level. And when you have it in bulk at home, you can always use it. It's readily available. So yes, I'm just going to work it in. If you don't want to use your hand, it's up to you. Then I'm going to be adding some seasoning salt. It also has a very nice flavor that it gives the dish. I'm going to be adding some seasoning powder. I'm using bouillon powder and then the peppers, and I'm going to mix. I washed my hand immediately because the Cameroon pepper especially is really spicy. So take note. Just work it in, and we're going to keep it aside while we get other things done. This is the brand of seasoning salt that I use. While the meat is marinating, we're going to move on to the rice. I'm using 2.5 cups of rice and then some coconut milk. This is about 2 cups of coconut milk. I'm going to be using some salt and some bouillon powder. Of course, I'm going to be using some onions. This recipe is by I am Dodos's mom. Dodos is a makeup artist, but she made a cooking video that was inspired by her mom. And then some carrots and runner beans. I'm going to start by blending the onion balls with some milk. That's just about 1/4 cup of milk. I took it from the coconut milk that we have in the bowl. And then I'm just going to allow it blend like so. That's an okay consistency. So I told you guys earlier that I'm giving honor to whom honor is due. So thank you so much, Dodos and your mom, for this recipe because I love it. My family loves it. I added some water. I rinsed the bowl and added some water. You are going to bring the coconut milk to a boil like so. And you're going to go ahead and add in the blended onions to this milk. Onions make anything sweet, so any recipe that involves onions, count me in. So I'm adding the blended onions to the coconut milk, and I'm going to stir, and I'm going to bring to a boil. I added, just rinse the blender out with some water. Once I add that, I'm going to add in the bouillon powder and some salt before I bring it to a boil. I'm going to stir that in so that it can, sit in there nicely and marry together. So once it's, boiling, I'm now going to add in the rice, but at this time it already tastes so good. So I'm going to add in the rice. I'm just curious, what else can we add in this, can we make in this sauce, this coconut milk sauce? I'm thinking if we cook it down, we can do pasta, we can be very experimental. Anyways, now I'm just going to add in, the rice is cooked but it's still sticky, it's not dried completely. I'm going to add in the vegetables, carrots and runner beans. I don't know if you see on the side to the right, the side of the pot is a little burnt, and that's because the heat was too much. So when you're cooking, you have to be mindful of the heat. I allow this steam under really low heat. After that, in a pan or a hot wok, you're going to add in some vegetable oils, and then we're going to start frying the vegetables, or stir frying the vegetables. And you want, at this point, you want the heat to be high. Okay, now I'm going to add in the ginger garlic turmeric paste. I'm going to just call it magic paste, guys, because thank me later when you try it. It makes cooking really easy, because then you just have it in hand and you just take a scoop and you're good. I'm going to now add in bell peppers, the red first, tatashe, and the green. So beautiful. Then I'm going to be adding the carrots. Very beautiful. And then you're just going to stir that together. Give it a good stir. We don't want these vegetables to cook. We just want them to stir fry, and we still want them crunchy, because we're still making it into a sauce and we don't want soggy vegetables. If you notice, the color of the onions are turning from purple to pink. The goal is that by the end of the sauce, we still want to see the onions, but they should be white and not pink. If they are pink, do you, because it just means your vegetables are more crunchy than normal. I'm going to season this vegetable mix with bouillon powder, and then also with some pepper. I like to have a kick. I like to have more than a kick, actually, but the Cameroon pepper I put in the beef will do the trick for me. This is just so the vegetables, they have their own kick. So now I'm going to set them aside. See, my onions are still pinky. Please take note of that. You don't need to keep them on for too long. We're going to take the vegetable out now, and by this time the meat has marinated enough. It has been enjoying itself in all of that seasoning. And now this is the same pan I used to fry the vegetables. I'm just going to add in some vegetable oil. I'm not frying this meat, I'm just browning it. Okay, it's different, and it's going to produce its own juice. It's very useful. We want that. So you're going to just set this aside and be patient. You need this to cook, actually, except you like to eat medium rare or whatever. In about 5 minutes this should be fine. You just want to make sure you cook it good, and it should have produced some kind of stock, not a lot, but a good quantity. And you're just going to allow it do its thing, let it simmer. The cornstarch is what we're going to be using as the main thing to create this sauce, but I was supposed to add more stock, or at least dilute the cornstarch with more water, because look what happened. Another thing that's important is that you reduce the heat. This thing just solidified on me just like that. Too much. It was too quick, and it's not good. So at this point, what you do is you turn down your heat completely, and then you start adding water and stirring, because now we want to create the consistency that we desire. So this don't look pretty. We just need to do the work, which is to stir. So you stir and stir until that corn flour starts to dilute, and you just keep adding water. I'd rather do a little at a time, so I add little water, so that I can get the consistency that I want, rather than adding it all at once and then your consistency is off, or the liquid is too much and you don't have enough, it's not seasoned enough. So that's what we want to prevent. We want to make sure that the seasoning we have is what we need. Okay, so just do this until you're satisfied with the consistency. So I added a little more water because I want a little sauce in I want my sauce more saucy. Does that make sense? So I'm going to, when I add the vegetables, you see the vegetables will absorb some of this sauce, so it won't be this much. And I was just tasting to make sure that everything is good. And now I'm going to be bringing the vegetables back. My guys, my people, my family, my fam bam, you guys, this is something that you can totally have instead of stew. Tomato stew is great. We grew up eating it. Our great grandfathers, forefathers, they've been eating tomato stew. But all these things are readily available in Nigeria and in Africa. I don't know what country you're watching me from, so let's kind of switch things up a little bit. We don't always have to be traditional. You turn off the heat. No, before you turn off the heat, allow it to simmer for at least a minute, 1 to 2 minutes. See, my onions are now like white. There's still very few of them that are pink, but they're now white, so you can still see them. You still eat them. You still take a bite and feel onions. That's the goal. And see all of that sauce that looked like it was going to be too runny. It's not runny anymore. And this is it, guys. This is the sauce to impress anybody. If anybody's coming to visit you and you want to impress, or you're in the mood, or you just want to treat yourself, go ahead. I had the sauce by itself. I can have it totally by itself. Just amazing. Look how beautiful, guys. I can't get over this meal. But I tasted the rice. I had like a spoon of the rice, and it's just better than regular white rice. Don't you think so? So thank you, Sweeter Jelly, and thank you, I am Dodos. Please check Dodos and check Sweeter Jelly's page on YouTube. I want to say that you should recreate this, please, and tag me on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, I don't even know what you're doing. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Again, I want you to remember that cooking is an art and you're the artist, so indulge yourself and express yourself through cooking. Thank you, guys. Until next time, be the best version of you. Bye.